chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victories in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victories in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go.
Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to Season 1, Round 2 of the GT PHG World Series. I am T-Case, of course, and I am joined today by the one and only Titanium Ashes and PHG RickShear. Welcome, welcome. How are you feeling this evening, Titanium? I'm doing wonderful. And Rick, how are you doing, man? Awesome. Late night. Tell us where you reside if we couldn't already figure it out by your voice. Awesome. Well, I'm here we are. I'm glad you couldn't sleep. You're able to join us. Unfortunately, our good friend and colleague Toon is under the weather and had to bow out of this one. And then of course Leo is racing in this race. And then I believe after this race, we'll also be joined by Salamander. So we'll have a nice crew. We'll let Rick hopefully get some sleep and let Titanium choose whether or not they want to stay or go. Awesome, awesome. Well, we're here at Watkins Glen. What kind of stuff do we have going on here? It's a 20 laps, they say. 20 laps. And we got a rolling start. We got 6 times tire wear, 2 times fuel. So tires are going to play a huge role in this one. We got a 10-minute qualifying. We are in Group 4 cars. All tires are usable and all tires are required. So we're going to see some form of stint on racing hards, racing softs, and racing mediums. I'm curious to see if everybody's going to be running the same strategy or if we're going to see a few varying strategies depending on the car. Rick, I know you weren't able to participate in this race, but were you able to get in any practice lobbies or did you watch any practice this week of this race? Oh no, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Classic. So why is that? Well, hold on. Now that I've been sitting here just chatting, um, it should. Hey, Leo. Let's see. Yeah, let me get on the scene with the audio mixer, Discord. And it says, yeah, it's not making any noise from the Discord. Why is that? Mm-hmm. Oh, add existing Discord. Okay. Now it works? No, why? Okie dokie. Good. Well, thank you, Leo, for your assistance. And I'm glad everybody just got to listen to me talk to myself as though I was having a conversation with 2 other people. So to catch y'all up, I got Titanium and Rick here. Rick is on holiday visiting family back in England and is very jet lagged and uh, is staying up late with us. It's hold on. I'm gonna remove both of them. Remove, add, application, add existing, Discord, okay. Properties. Aha. That's because I changed the name of the room.
Oh.
Boom. Figured it out.
There we go. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Real quick. Say something there, Rick, and let's see if they hear you.
Check 1, check 2. Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here, and we've done 1 or 2 intros before, so I'll keep it short. But excited to be commentating. It's 1 a.m. in the world where I am, and I'm jet lagged, and I can't race. If I could, I would, but then doing the next best thing, commentating. So super excited. And Titanium, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Mic check successful. Thanks, James. Awesome. Well, back to my original question now that we know they can hear you. Rick, did you see any practice lobbies or watch anybody's stream?
I will bow out, so I will see you all later.
Later, Leo.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Leo.
buddy.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Yes, TKs. I did watch a bit of practice. I watched a bit of Mustang Chuck ripping his VR rig, and it seems like a lot of the guys are going for mid-engine cars. I'm seeing a lot of the 4C, Alfa Romeo, I think the Citroen Group 4 VGT car. I think that's also mid-engine. A couple of the NSXs in there. So looks like tire wear is a big factor for this one, and the racers are going for cars that are good on tires and have good rotation, and can kind of keep them going through the race. So, but I'm really curious to see if people do different strategies, like what options there are. Are people going to be going flat out or managing pace? It should be really fun.
Awesome. Awesome. No, James, Rick is not on mute. Can y'all still not hear him? I'm going to pull this up on my phone. This doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
Gotta love streaming.
Yeah,
Gotta love
interesting.
streaming. Nope.
My girlfriend's listening
Yeah,
by the
it.
stream, and she says she can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you through the stream of the stream. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. I think we're good. Titanium, how about yourself? Did you hop in any of those practice lobbies?
For like 2 seconds. I ran around the track a couple times. I used the McLaren, per Papa's suggestion, of course.
Mm.
Um, and I will say it takes the curves really well. It definitely handled much better, but of course, it just isn't a viable option for this particular race. I've seen quite a few different cars being used by everybody, lots of switch outs. Everybody like scrambling to try to figure out what to do. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty interesting to see it in action.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't end up getting in any to give this a try. I was very curious to hear what people were doing because I know how much everybody loves the all-wheel drive Group 4 cars.
Mm.
But clearly, like you were saying, Rick, it's got the mid-engine's going to be the way to go, especially on tire wear. I do like the 4C quite a bit. I know it's been used in like some of those kind of fuel saver, no stopper race C's we've had in the past where you can get through the whole race without having to pit for tires if you don't need to, whereas some of the other Group 4s, you end up burning through the tires. Have either of you guys used the 4C at all?
On my side, I used it in Gran Turismo Sport, but I haven't really used it too much in either GT3 or GT4, in GT7. So kind of wish, part of me wishes I was doing this race, but I'm
Yeah.
excited to just watch it and see how those 4Cs do because they were definitely an off-meta car in GT Sport, I think. But seems like in certain tracks here in GT7, and the Group 3 car seems really good. I think Papa was running it in the Sardinia race this week, and it seemed really viable.
Right on, right on. Yeah,
As
So
far
I'm excited to
as
try
I'm
that.
concerned, I only used it a little bit.
yeah. It rotates really well as well, and this track has a bunch of those kind of 90-degree or even a little more than 90-degree turns where you need that good rotation without just chewing through the tires, getting a lot of understeer. So what else we got? We got the NSX, which is quite an enjoyable car to drive, and this is the Citroen, uh, right, Rick? Is that what this one is?
Yeah, you guys know you don't get Citroens over in we don't get Citroens in North America, do we? But
Nope.
growing up in England, there were plenty of Citroens on the road.
I only knew what they were because of like the old Need for Speed games, because they would put like Citroens, Renaults, Opals, all those were in those old Need for Speed games, and so I was like, I've never seen these cars before in my entire life, but apparently they exist.
They do. One of my friends, his neighbor, has like a Citroen in his garage, and this is in Montreal, so he imported a
Oh,
Citroen from the
nice.
60s or the 70s, and it just sits in his garage. It's like a really cool old French car.
Very, very cool. So we're seeing mostly 4Cs, couple NSX. See another Citroen back there with SPC. And look at these lovely holiday Christmas liveries.
Yeah, super seasonal.
'Tis the season. It is not cold at all where I am, but because of everybody's decorations, it's telling me that it is the season.
Yeah, what is it? What's the temperature over there?
It got a little cool today, but it was like in the high 60s, low 70s today.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I went mountain biking this morning, so it was chilly when we got started, and then by the end of it, we were all nice and sweaty.
Nice. Yeah, I had an early-ish dog walk this morning. I think it was probably in the 50s, maybe high 40s. But
Well, the
hey, that's
first,
winter
first,
weather for you.
nice. First few drivers have crossed the line. We got Rowdy leading with a 153.859, and
Okay.
Ecstasy just jumping in right behind him. Not even a tenth of a second, but Racer 51 takes the lead. Let's see
Well,
if I can figure
53.1. That's a
out
good time.
who is about to cross the line here. PHG Lyric. We'll see what kind of time. Very nice, up into P3. So what kind of
Mhm.
times were you seeing, Rick, when you were watching some of those practices?
Yeah, it seemed like the best times kind of throughout the week were really low 53s. I think Shaggy did 53 dead or 53.1, but actually, shortly before this, I just tuned in to say hi on South Stream, and I think in the practice lobby, Lyric had done a 52.9, which maybe is the fastest, certainly the fastest I've seen. So there's some time out there for sure.
That is super quick. Titanium, do you remember what kind of lap time you ran in the McLaren?
In the McLaren, the best that I got was like 157, so wasn't all that great. But for the most part, I'm seeing that 53s are pretty much where you want to be, and of course, there's the rare 52s that are coming in. I know Shaggy said in Papa's chat he also hit 52.9 uh, today, so
Wow.
we're
There
gonna
you
see
go.
some good competition.
Yeah, for real. Racer 51 back there using all of the track. We're on board with PHG Salamander. Finishing now
Shout out
with the
Sal.
tire wear. Oh, nope, going into the pit. So
Ooh,
I guess they're
good
trying to
pick.
burn some fuel, put some fresh. I was just about to ask, Rick, with the tire wear and fuel, is there a strategy for qualifying that you know of?
I think there is, yeah. I think you get out there, you set a banker, or try and go as fast as possible on the first go, and then you come in, uh, pit for fresh, pit for fresh boots. Don't put any fuel in, so you can have a nice kind of fast, low fuel run. And I'm not sure, I think 10 or 15 minutes. So maybe they have time for one or two pit stops and maybe two or three flying laps. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. And that was the case before this all got started. They did a PHG Elite race. I don't know if you were around yet for that one, Rick, where it was this kind of same combo or same track and rules just in Group 3 cars. And so that was
Mhm.
definitely the case in qualifying in those Group 3 cars was do a couple laps of burning fuel and then hope that you get 2 laps there right at the end on some fresh tires and on a lighter car.
Yeah. Watkins Glen is a really awesome course. It's kind of crazy to think, but I hadn't really raced on it until a few months ago. And it's just like I played a lot of Gran Turismo Sport particularly in the pandemic, and then kind of didn't sim race for a couple of years, and I got back into it in late summer, kind of through to now. And I think the difference what I'm doing now to back then is back then I was just doing the dailies and wasn't really getting involved in communities. But this time I'm like, hey, let's find a community, and I found PHG. So really really fun to be doing this kind of stuff.
Indeed, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard if you're doing dailies. It's very rare to get in a lobby and there not be at least one PHG member in there, especially if you're in the Americas
Yeah,
servers with North and Central South America. Like, there's PHG all over the place.
yeah. And Appa's YouTube was just it was like it was getting recommended to me on my work YouTube page. Like so it was just in the brain from day one.
The algorithm is working.
Well done,
Nice.
Papa. Yeah, your reach is it's making it out there.
It's funny.
We're glad to have you.
Awesome.
Indeed,
Thank you,
titanium,
guys.
indeed. And titanium does a lot of I'm sure most people who are watching this know exactly who titanium is. But titanium does a lot of behind the scenes work and a lot going on in the Discord, keeping track of the team and scoring. Can you give us a little rundown of like all the stuff you do for PHG titanium?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have developed the spreadsheets to keep track of our team, uh, and then also, of course, all of the individual spreadsheets for each team. I help assist with recruiting stuff for Leo when he needs it. Um, just getting people in and let them know what we're about, that kind of thing. Um, Basically, any kind of direction that I need to give. People send me DMs all the time. Hey, how do I do this, or who should I speak to about that, or whatever. So um, that's pretty much what I do. I just direct things and put a lot of data entry in.
Nice. All the stuff that nobody else wants to do, I see.
Basically. Or they're like, I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah. Well, the organization skills are key, and we greatly appreciate everything you do. Not just here at PHG, but also your involvement in NRL as well, helping that run smoothly too, which is excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I enjoy it, honestly.
Awesome. Yeah, the unsung hero.
And it looks like on that bombshell, we're all done with qualifying. Very
Very
interesting.
cool. Ooh, race of 51,
152.8.
52. Yeah, that's a great time.
It
Yeah.
really is.
And then we got Lyric, we got Mr. Cold Trickle, SPC, uh, Shaggy, Mustang, Rowdy, STC, and Leo. Got 8. And then we got Sal, Feather Dan, and Papa. On the I'll be rocking an alternate strategy, trying to find their way
Mm-hmm.
up the grid somehow.
And I mean, I'm not nearly close to as fast as these top group here. So, you know, you might go into this type of race, or at least I would of, I'm not going to qualify up there. Maybe just kind of take it easy, know that my practice will work out and make those positions on the during the race through strategy because yeah, I know me personally am not qualifying above above a bunch of those guys.
That's the first. That's the fun. That's the fun part.
That is. That's only fun when you start a new account and you're in C lobbies.
Yeah.
and,
EE
and it's
lobbies.
realistic.
Yeah.
And then you finally get back up into the A and A plus lobbies and you're like, well, never mind. At least that's me.
Yeah, I got derated shortly before joining PHG, and I think I went down to like B, C, or BD. So bit of a grind up the grid, but hey, it was fun.
It is fun.
I mean, there's definitely a few more dirty drivers, but you can use your pace, keep it clean, and win on track. So yeah.
Well, looking at these standings, Racer 51 and the NSX 52.8. Then we got the 4C, another Citroen, some more 4Cs, another Citroen, another NSX, a Citroen, 4C, 4C, Citroen, NSX. So the only one that didn't qualify was P Choi. And I mean, still a tight grid, P1 to P11, under a second and a half. Like, that's really close, especially in Group 4 cars.
Yeah, this is going to be a good race. Lots of even pace, and I'm sure people are going to be looking to make up some spots early on. Some people try and avoid the mistakes and get a good start, and you'll be well on your way to a good finish.
Indeed. I think these type of races tend to get pretty spread out as well, so it's kind of survive the start of the race, stick to your strategy. At some point the pit stops are going to bottle up and everybody's going to get bunched back up together. And I know I did catch the end of one of Leo's practices. I don't know if it was a full 20-lap race, but he was finishing the race on completely dead tires. Like, there was nothing left in those tires. So that's exactly what happened to me in the Group 3 race we did here. Was by the end of it, I couldn't even make a turn. You had to slow down so much. So you definitely, you want to use as much tire as possible, but you do need to have a little life left at the end. Do either of you have any insight as far as how many laps people are going to try to run on each tire? You don't have to give a specific person, but just some ideas.
Yeah, I didn't. I think maybe what the softs are good for 4 or 5 laps, and I think the first league race I did with PHG was at Dragon Trail in the Group 1s. I think every tire was required there, but I think the winning strategy was hard for like 1 or 2 laps, mediums, and then softs. So I'm curious. Maybe you got some people starting on the hards here, and it might get a bit all over the place.
Yeah, we got P1 on the racing softs, P2 on the racing hards, P3 on the racing mediums.
There you go.
It's going to be an interesting turn 1. Hopefully, Lyric can get it stopped on those hards.
Yeah, I was going to say there's quite a few different strategies as far as the tires go. I will say that Shaggy, who is the creator of this league, he was telling us all that the softs, as Rick was saying, is about 3 to 4 good solid laps, maybe 5 if you're good on it, and then the mediums are going to be about double that. So that's about the average of everybody.
Interesting. So you could get away with kind of a soft, medium, hard, but I imagine the hards are just going to be so much slower that nobody's going to want to stay on them for very long.
Yeah.
Very impressed with everybody
Like,
getting through this. Nobody died in the bus stop, which, isn't a normal thing to say if this were a daily race. But this is a PHG race, and they're going to go 3 wide. And Leo up the inside. Beautiful. Can he keep it together? Get his foot on the gas side by side there with Ecstasy, but he's going to have a better exit as they come up. Ecstasy still alongside. Are they going to... This is not a good turn to go side by side. Oh my goodness. That's going to be track limits for Ecstasy, I think.
It's a penalty for sure.
Plenty of space given. Everyone was clean, but sometimes in giving that much space, you end up with, there it is, a half a second penalty as we go back up to our leaders as they're about to start their second lap as Racer 51 is just taken away. He is on the softs, and it looks like those hard tires are starting to show there for Lyric, falling back 2 positions.
And with SPC on the mediums there, I think he's running a good pace.
Yeah, keeping up with somebody as fast as Racer 51, keeping them in sight, and being on a slightly slower tire compound. It might play into SPC's advantage because also titanium. Did you see as far as how long the fuel lasts around here?
Actually, I didn't. I didn't get to stay long enough to see that whenever I was in the lobbies with them.
Okay, how about you, Rick?
That's also an unknown for me, so I think it'll add a bit of spice to our
Yeah,
commentary. We'll see.
definitely an unknown for me as well, but it does seem like they are burning through some fuel because, that was a big thing in the last races. You knew you had to pit X amount of times just for fuel alone. The last race
Cool.
at Le Mans that you guys did. But
Yeah.
then it's just a matter of how to use the tires, and y'all had weather to deal with as well.
Yeah. I went on for my last stop. I think I went onto the soft, maybe the earliest, but I kind of completely forgot about fuel and then realized I had like 6 laps to do when
That's the
usually I'm
worst.
doing, like 4 or 5. So a lot of management there, and it was kind of stressful.
Indeed. Yeah, fuel management is. I'm better at fuel management than I am at tire management. I can tell you that much. Because I can't tire manage to save my life. But I can make fuel last. And with all these cars, I think all of them are relatively good on fuel, with the 4C probably being the best.
Yeah, that makes
Papa
sense.
just went purple there.
Very nice. They are on lap 2. Let's see where this puts him. There we go.
That was a good start. He's up
Very
3 or 4
nice.
places.
Yeah.
Ooh, getting a little drifty there. And he's also on the racing hards. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
very
that,
curious. I'm sure Lyric will probably be the first to come in on the hards, unless they're just gonna run these long and do. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I'm not a strategist either, so.
yeah, I find in Group 4, like the difference between the compounds is maybe a little bit narrower than Group 3. So I think if you can be consistent and smooth and stay out of trouble, you can make the hards work for longer than you can in Group 3, against a mediums or a soft runner.
Yeah, that does make sense. You're all. Yeah, they also. I think one of the things that really eats away at the tires is the downforce, and the
Hmm.
less downforce you get on a car, the less just overall pressure and heat's being applied to the tire. So that would make sense there with the Group 4 that the compounds be not as important as it is
Yeah,
as you work your way up.
yeah. Group 4 is a great category, though. I think it's great to kind of learn the faster feel of a race car, and especially if you haven't played in a while. I like to jump into Group 4s and get the feeling back of kind of hitting your marks and racing wheel to wheel, and then it's like, okay, I'm ready for some Group 3 machinery.
Yeah, and you also get to, if you're really struggling with that right foot, you can get an all-wheel drive or a front-wheel drive to help you out a little bit. Because for me, that was the biggest thing for a long time. I just never, I do now, but for a long time, I just couldn't do the Group 3, and it was because I didn't have the throttle control that you
Yeah,
need. And you can get away with it even in the rear-wheel drive cars like the Mustang or the Jaguar, any of those. You can
yeah,
get away with being a little heavy-footed.
yeah. It's interesting. I think it's lead-footedness or whatever. It's like it's a very personal thing. Some people say, "Oh, this car's got way too much power oversteering," and some people are like, "What? Not at all." So yeah, that was one of the things I struggled with in Gran Turismo Sport a lot, and I just kind of ran one car, the Peugeot RCZ, in Group 3 because I could be really aggressive with the throttle on that, but not much else. But I find in GT7 there's like more cars I can use with the throttle control, so that's made it a bit more fun.
Yeah, and with the latest big physics update, which actually seems like a long time ago, I felt like a bunch of the Group 3 cars got a little more stable under throttle, and
Hmm.
weren't just like so quickly to just completely snap and spin you around.
Yeah,
Um, which was really helpful. But I prefer a car that's a little more on the oversteery side than understeer. Which is for a long time why I struggled with the all-wheel drive cars. I just couldn't handle. I needed more rotation that I wasn't getting.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I learned how to adjust my driving accordingly and braking at a different point to get that rotation, I did better. But I always prefer a car that's gonna lean towards the side of oversteer than understeer.
Yeah, me too. I think I like mid-engined, and in GT Sport, if you remember that, like in Group 4, the front wheel drive cars were super overpowered, like the
Yes.
RCZ and some of those. So I love those as well, like the Audi TT.
The
But
Audi
I don't
TT
think
was
they're
great
viable.
in sport. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So Papa gets off the hards at the end of lap 5, or I guess that was the end of lap 4.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to come out on? So he just did essentially one stint. Now he's on the mediums. He still has over 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So he could do
Maybe.
he could do a big 10-lap stint on these mediums and then pit for softs and fuel.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
he's on lap 5 now and a quarter tank hasn't been used, maybe fuel isn't even a factor.
That'll be interesting. Ooh, and Racer 51, no grip on those lefts. Luckily, he's only got 2 right-handers. There we go. We'll see if that... Nope, handles it well. Keeps it in track limits.
SBC is catching him.
Indeed, he's definitely having to take it slower. It's going to be... Well, at least he's going to be slowing down for the pit lane, which this is can be a very frustrating pit entry if you don't get it slowed down enough, because that's a 3-second penalty if you cross that line. Racers
Here we
getting
go.
off the stops. Any guesses on what tire he's going to go on, Titanium?
I'm gonna say mediums.
Mediums. Rick, what about you?
Yeah, I think mediums could be good, but kind of stay up there at the top of the pack and then just throw on the hards at the end and get it around.
Yep, and there he goes. He comes out on the mediums. So Papa pitted earlier than the other hard tire drivers like Lyric and Leo, who are also coming out on the mediums. So we got Ecstasy just staying out, gonna do a long stint on the hards, as well as P. Choi and Rowdy. Shaggy's still on the mediums. SPC still on the mediums. But look at the tire wear on Shaggy compared to SPC. That's quite a bit on that front left tire.
Is it more for Cole, or can you go back to Shaggy? I missed it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like that 4C is better on its tires.
Definitely. And they're about the same on fuel, but we do know Shaggy does not fuel save because he rocks that automatic, so he's flat out the whole way. It's such an interesting. It's like, nope, fuel saving races not for him. He's just fast enough that he'll pit anyways and be just fine.
Yeah.
And that's the Shaggy we all know and love.
It's on the pad too. It's even, I think it's harder to save tires than on the wheel. So kudos.
Indeed. So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
he's got it down for sure. He's been doing it for a while, and you can't help but give him props for that. So.
Absolutely. A bunch of guys I run my lobbies with, they're all on controller as well, and especially in the road cars, you can be silly quick on a pad because that just takes you back to your childhood of playing this game back in the day on controller versus and I feel like back then it was a lot less race cars being used and a lot more road cars too.
Right.
So I'm curious, some of these drivers, I know for me, sometimes my skill level kind of negates any tire advantage, like between compounds. Like I'm going to be roughly the same speed on all three. Um, and I'm curious if some of these hard runners that are still staying out here, let's find one like S to C, if they found that, you know, there wasn't as big of a advantage time wise for being on any of the tires, or maybe they're just using all the tires they can use. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just going for a long stint and trying to find track position between, and relying on maybe also others to maybe lose some time in the pitch and get a few penalties, get into a few incidents. SDT, I think last week in the second split, he drove an amazing McLaren. So I think they do kind of alternate strategy here.
And what is Chuck is on the mediums. Now, where was Rowdy? It kind of looked like he touched that pit line, but nope, doesn't look like it. I thought for a minute when he was going into the pits he was gonna get a penalty, but this is a nice little cluster back here. Everybody has pitted. Nope, Vetterdan has not hit the pits, nor has Salamander. So Rowdy's gonna get a few spots, and Papa when those guys come into the pits.
What strategy they're running? They have mediums.
Yeah, they are on the medium tire. And I guess I would imagine I could see like a 10 stint, 10-ish, maybe more than 10 lap stint on the mediums. And then 4 or 5 laps on the hards and 4 or 5 laps on the softs, because that's all you're going to get out on the softs. So doing the longest stint on the mediums makes sense to me. It's just a matter of what do they want to finish on? Do they want to finish on the hards, or do they want to finish on the softs?
Yeah, I think whenever I do one of these races again, I'm going to start hards. And even if I'm at the front, I'm going to start hards and left them early and give myself a lot of flexibility then, because you just low fuel, high grip, and you're flying. Yeah.
And Leo just said purple first sector on the mediums. They're nice and warm. Looking good in the Citroen. And it's, you know, you can do that in these type of league races, Rick, versus the dailies. Because in the dailies, if you're out front and you start on the slower compound, you're just going to get annihilated in turn one. There's no question about it. But in this, they know that everybody makes mistakes, but in general, nobody's going to just plow into you, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes a lot of people at that point, like, I'm just going backwards and they're getting their elbows out.
And it does feel that way, like that, you know, you get passed by like 2 cars, and then the next thing you know, it's like you're just getting sucked backwards. And it's like, and it doesn't necessarily, it's not like you could go faster, but because of everything happening, you just kind of fall back, and that is so frustrating. You see S to C going in the pits, getting off those hards, so they did 8 laps on the hards.
Interesting.
So maybe
I think SDC is one of those quiet dailies. You know, they don't expect it, but he pulls out some ideas sometimes. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. And also, shout out to S to C. I meant to say this at the start, but we were having all the technical difficulties. Thank you for becoming a channel member, S to C. We are enjoying watching you race. Welcome to the Rainbow Leopard. And Cole in the lead still.
Yeah.
Quite a good lead.
Yeah.
But his tires are worse for wear.
They're being super consistent right now, I think. Great race that you Yeah, me too.
He's 14 and a half. So he'll definitely pass them when they come in the pits. And nope, Cole is not pitting yet. Interesting. I would have expected Cole. I guess he's trying to hit that the 10 lap mark.
Yeah.
Yep. He's been also super consistent. Indeed. We got a few Canadians in the second race as well. I know Root's in that race. Not sure.
As well.
Awesome. Good showings all around. Man, the bus stop chicane here, in my opinion, is so much better than the one at Daytona Road Course. What do you think about that? Would you agree?
Yeah, Daytona Road Course is that.
It's
this one
you can like accelerate out of it, whereas, and maybe it's just because I don't know where to brake, but at Daytona it's like I'm still slowing down by the third apex, whereas this one I'm already on the gas after the second apex.
Yeah. Daytona is such a big road course that I find it really on the other side, really I need to find that track.
It's an interesting circuit. It has never been my favorite, but I've done it so many times, and now I've gone to that race, the 24 hours at Daytona, a few times now, and so it's like I appreciate it, but it's not my favorite track. So we got Cole in the pits, Shaggy staying out. And where's Pete Troy? So fuel's not going to be a factor. There we go. Well, we still got you. So Cole coming out in third, almost 9 seconds behind Racer 51. He is on fresh soft, so I imagine he'll start pulling Racer 51 back in if Racer 51 doesn't end up pitting before that happens.
I've never done that.
Yeah, it is. I got a PHG member came here to South Texas to go to a race with me and stayed with me, and he brought PHG Turbo. He brought his sim rig and his VR to my house, so we had double sim rigs set up, and I got to use his VR, and it's super cool. It's super cool. You learn to use like the skid marks on the road as your brake markers and stuff like that. Like that's how you know where to brake, is because you see that's where everybody's braking. But you can really look at the apex. It's really cool. It's a lot, and if you get motion sickness, maybe don't do it. But it's really, really cool. I've gone back and forth on doing it, and I think as far as I like to stream while I race. That's one of my favorite things, because it's like it's just hanging out with your buds, playing video games. And when you have the VR on, it's a lot different and less. It's harder to interact with people. Shaggy comes out on the softs with a gaggle. We got Mustang and Lyric both on the mediums. I would imagine Mustang's going to be coming in this lap, as he thinks better of it. He thought about it and then was like, no, better not.
Right.
If it was a daily, probably would have sent it.
Yes. You remember like a few months ago there was like group walk and stuff that I think like RickShear.
Yes, I did not touch it.
But it was like I think I did it and I did it. It was so fun. Just figured out that was maybe some GT and stuff like that.
That was the one where was it the Hyundai or the Bugatti? Like, it was some not normal Group 1 car was the one everyone was using.
Yeah, it was the one I was looking at the Bugatti. It was the Bugatti. You could just go completely flat. That's your device.
That's ridiculous. Let's see. Yep, Cole has closed down the gap. It was 10 seconds, so he's making work, but he's also working through those soft tires. But 53.6, fastest lap for him.
Very nice.
He's also new to the VR stuff. He was telling us recently that he was trying it out and he was quite enjoying it.
And that was Cole?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. He's one of the few that have started converting over to it. So we might see it in the future where we have a race with just for the VR.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I would like to see that because I know several members use it, and it is so cool. I've used it also for iRacing. I did a couple MX5 races in VR at my brother's house, and that was also a lot of fun. But the graphics are just so much better in Gran Turismo. It's pretty incredible.
I really started with the system, like, but then Gran Turismo that recently I installed CC in the PS5 version, and it just looks terrible. And it's not like 30 frames a second or something like that. It doesn't look right because I'm so used to Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah. Gran Turismo 7 is a work of art visually.
Yeah.
It really is. And like when they added Grand Valley Highway to this one, it was like, holy cow, look at, like, this is beautiful.
Right. I completely agree. There's definitely some beautiful scenes out there.
And they add animals and people. It's like, what?
Right.
So Papa working those mediums down. So he started on the hards. Yes. He boxed at the end of lap 4. He's going to take these mediums one more lap. Maybe 2 more laps to be safe. And finish on the softs. Sounds like a pretty solid strategy because everybody else is still going to have to pit again. So I don't see him really losing many positions. So he definitely, if things go according to plan, is going to come out moving up several positions.
Yeah. There's a little bit around top split. I think it's 2 for fans. 2 seconds later, to 50. So I think a lot of these guys who were in the second split for round 1, they didn't get a top split, and they finish at the top second standings.
Indeed. Cole is definitely gaining there on Racer 51.
Yeah. And Shaggy was he was just excellent to back when SBC pitted, but that gap kind of increased to about 5 seconds there. It's down 1.5-ish. So Shaggy in the charge.
He is. And so he can. Wow. These guys have done some practice. and thought about this more than I have, which is today. Good on them.
Lyric is he's going to be running soft soon. So Lyric's still a factor. Yeah, we're going to have Cole and Shaggy on the softs. Oh, sorry, on the mediums at the end against Racer 51 on the hards. So there could be some close racing in the dying laps there.
Yeah, that's oh man, it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, Cole's really catching up now.
I think Salamander's making his final pit stop. He's coming out. He's gonna finish on the soft. So we're gonna see one more dash of people in the pits, and then it's gonna be on. So I mean, it did spread out quite a bit, but it stayed a lot closer than I thought it was gonna stay. Let's see if his tire's gonna stay. That does not have much life left.
Yeah, snap the box.
Box. Oh yeah, he's pushing it. Kicking up the grass. It's complete. Oh, this is going to be a tough turn right here. This is going to be so difficult. Keep it in line.
That trail is completely gone off.
Yeah. Shaggy's almost cut down a second in that one turn. He gained on him. And Racer 51 has been able to pull away. But he's coming in. Get off those tires. But way to commit to the strategy. That's always a tough thing to do is, commit to the strategy or adjust to what's happening. It's always a gamble.
I think Shaggy was a little bit compromised there. He couldn't take the apex as he would have liked because Cole was going into it like that. So
yeah, you are correct. Yeah, he was had to take a middle of the road. But again, good clean driving, whereas most people would just turned in and said good luck.
Yeah.
Whew, everybody.
Wow.
Taking their pits. We got a lot of people who are going to come out on the softs.
Okay, Cole is on the pods.
So we got Shaggy still needs to pit one more time, right? To put on the medium. No, the hards.
Yeah, the hards. Yeah, top 3 will be running hards.
We got Racer on the hards, Cole on the hards, Lyric charging on the softs, and not far behind Cole. I mean, holy cow. And SSC, SSC still has to stop. Okay. So we're going to see SSC in the pit.
He's going on soft too.
Yep. Ooh, but ended up with the... Indeed. And they got a pretty good gap to Leo. All right, so Rowdy still needs to pit.
Very interesting. I'm surprised that down is not a factor. It was absolutely rapid in the last PHG race.
Yeah. Different cars, different track. You never know. Never know.
Sounds like his strength is inclusive in the name there.
So Shaggy is now in the pits. Keep an eye on Racer 51. Racer 51 is going to get by.
Oh, look at that, 11 seconds. The call.
That's amazing.
Lyric, here we go.
They're gonna come out side by side. Oh, Shaggy just ahead. Just ahead, securing that P2 for now. These are cold. Very nice overcut, yes. And Lyric just putting all the pressure on those softs. The softs are working out. We'll see if they fall off on them at any point.
Yeah.
And going purple by almost 0.3. Now he's got Shaggy's just right in front of him. Holy cow. The fall off didn't seem too crazy bad, especially with just these few laps left.
Very fine.
I definitely think it was a safe spot to pit and get on them.
Yeah. Yeah, so they did
Yeah, for sure.
they did the 5 laps on the hards, or 5-ish laps on the hards, and then 10-ish laps on the mediums, and then finishing on the softs. And oh my goodness, so much pressure on Shaggy. There he
Oh,
goes.
there we go, on the inside. It's wild. I'm surprised Cole didn't start on the hards. I think that's what won him that exhibition race with the big ones at Dragon Trail. It's kept it clean and then drove it really fast final 2 stints.
Yeah. I'm glad we got to see, all those different runners on different tire compounds.
Yeah, what happened to Ecstasy?
That's a great question.
The alternate strategy working out.
Well, they did their final pit stop and are on the softs. Currently ahead of Chuck, whose tires are way more worn. So I think they'll pull away from Chuck, but probably too far behind Better Dan unless they just keep getting penalties.
Papa's doing good.
Yes. So he started what, second to last? He's up into 7th. And he's right all over the back of Salamander.
Good little midfield race there with Leo, Sal, and Papa.
Indeed. See how Leo's tires. What was that, Titanium?
As it has definitely been interesting. I've noticed that this is the pattern they've had for most of the race, but I've also been watching them because Leo and Papa have a little side bet going. But it's for the season. It's not just for this race. But yeah, they're definitely on top of each other almost.
Oh, Papa with a half-second penalty. Alright. Where's Lyric in relation to Racer? 7 seconds. Fastest lap. But
2:56.
Yeah, it's not enough time. Not enough time. He's running a 155.5. Ooh, a little squirrely. Nice little drift through the bus stop. Indeed. Get all that rotation.
It's a 51 representing Montreal, Canada, from where Kugo's from as well.
Nice.
I'm surprised that such a strong Montreal contingent at PHG. Yeah.
It's that algorithm, man.
Yeah.
It's that algorithm. So the battle for third is going to be pretty good here between Cole and Shaggy. If Cole can catch up into the slipstream, which it looks like he's doing.
And Shaggy's got the slightly fresher rubber. Cole's some fast sectors.
Might get into the slipstream for the long straight. It's looking, depends on how he gets out of turn 1.
Yeah. Crucial turn, that one. Set you up for a lot of fun or a lot of pain.
Whichever you desire. Well, it looks like he got a better exit, but he's still out of slipstream, but he is gaining.
He's managing it well.
This is the final lap. Well, he's not close enough to do a move, but it looks like Leo almost close enough.
Ooh. I think Sal overtook Leo there.
Oh, Leo's got no front, right, left. Sal's got much better tire wear.
So that's a good race for Sal. I think he's up 3 or 4 positions as well.
Vetterdan got ahead of Papa.
Okay, so Papa's maybe run out of rubber.
Yep, and another penalty.
Ah,
A couple penalties there.
Papa hasn't been feeling too good though too. So
that's right. He's driving.
Yeah, he's done pretty good for this race considering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo on a wheel while you're sick is not fun. It's like, no thank you. And, well, a commanding lead, which doesn't really surprise me. Racer 51, 6-second lead. Lyric started what, P4? Or did they start P3?
P3, I think.
Okay, so up 1 position. They started on the hards and fell back, that's right. Shaggy Doo rounding out the podium. SPC. Sal 5. Oh, Leo lost position to Vetterdan as well. The tire wear got him, so good on Vetterdan, just having that much more tire there at the end. SSC coming across the line. Chuck had no front left. And finishing with Rowdy. GG's, y'all.
Yeah,
GG's.
Rowdy's first race back. Good to see him. Definitely have missed the man.
Welcome back, Rowdy. All right, so we got P1 Racer 51, P2 Lyric, P3 Shaggy Doo, holding off Mr. SPC Cole Trickle in P4, Salamander up to P5, Vetterdan P6, Leo P7. Well, look how close on their fastest laps there between Leo and Papa.
Separable.
Holy cow. Oh, man. Papa P8 and SSC P9, Mustang Chuck, P Choi, and a Rowdy. Great first race. Thoughts and reflections, Titanium.
Oh, I think everybody did a great job. Definitely lots of different strategies going, different tire choices. You can tell, I think, who practiced together and who did not.
Indeed. How about yourself, Eric?
So, yes,
did I call you Eric?
Yeah.
Rick? Like, that's not right.
For a sec. Yeah. I'll say it in French. C'était une bonne race for Racer 51. Congratulations to him. And yeah, real good fight there between second and fourth, between 3 rapid drivers. Racer was able to manage it out from there. Ran a very good race. Good mid-pack fighting there. That's like Sal came on top, and Vetterdan, who didn't really we didn't see much of him, and he was kind of hanging back there. He seemed to really come back nicely. yeah, solid finishes towards the end as well. So well done, everyone.
Well done, everyone. I agree. That was fantastic. I did enjoy watching there at the end that battle between the soft tires and the hard tires, and just overall what grip was left as they finished that race. That's always fun uh, when it comes down to the end like that. So, well,
Absolutely.
that was fantastic. That was fantastic. So we got one more race coming up. It's going to be the second split. I believe Salamander and Leo are going to join us. And Rick, are you sleepy yet? Your jet lag worn out?
I'm just starting to feel it. Actually, I'm starting to feel pretty tired. So I think this will be it for me, guys. Yeah, thanks so much for
Awesome.
having me.
Thank
Too much
you. I
fun for
appreciate
chatting.
you volunteering and jumping in on this. That was a lot of fun. It's great to meet you, talk to you in person. Thank you.
Likewise, yeah, I'd love to do this again. When the opportunity strikes, and you guys need to fill in. So we'll do it again sometime for sure. Good hanging with you guys. Good night and good luck to Split 2.
Good night. Have a good one.
Good night. Thank
Thanks.
you,
See you
sir.
guys later.
All right. Well, Titanium, it's that time where we get to take a break. Are
All
you gonna
right.
join us for the second race, or are you tapped out?
I mean, I'm okay. It's I could stick around.
You could stick around. That sounds great. We'd love to have you. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I know we're gonna have Sal come in, so that's gonna be great. He's a whole other ball of energy. So
Fantastic. We'll have our IT guy Leo here to help fix any other issues we have, um,
right.
which is going to be a blast. And I believe they're both going to continue streaming, because I know they were streaming their races. Or Sal was saying he was going to keep streaming his race. We'll let him tell us if that's is actually what's happening. But right now, I'm going to go to the break screen. I'm going to use the Whiz Palace, Whizzingham Manor, as some like to call it, and maybe get a snack.
All right, sounds good.
All right, we'll be back, y'all. Hang tight. Let's see if I can figure this out.
Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, a gift, speeding down the lane. Victor's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victor's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victor's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victor's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. speeding down the lane. Victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am joined again by Titanium, and I believe Salamander is here. Salamander, can you confirm that you are in fact here?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now, the real question is, can they hear you in the stream? Because we had that issue. It should be good, but if somebody in the chat can tell us if they can hear Salamander as I ask him how he feels about his race.
Actually, my race went pretty much according to plan. I was kind of hoping for a top 5, and that's where I ended, in the top 5. The strategy worked the way I wanted it to. I think I only got two pens in the race, so yeah, it all kind of went according to plan.
Fantastic. Yeah, it was some clean driving out there. We saw multiple strategies as various people started on various tires. Give us some insight, if you don't mind, into what your strategy was, and remind us what exactly you did in that race, as far as what you started on, where you started, and how you finished.
Yeah, because my qualifying didn't go uh, spectacularly, I ended up starting on the hards. And my plan was to do 1 lap on hards, 13 laps on medium, and 6 laps on softs. That's exactly what I did.
Nice. It's rare. 20 laps, I guess, isn't a ton of laps, but in a lot of these longer races, it's really hard to stick to the strategy and not slowly change what's going on and what you're thinking based on everyone around you. Did you have any moments where you wanted to change up your strategy, or did you just stick with it?
No, I just stuck with it. Honestly, after the first lap, I came in and I presumed that maybe some of the other guys in the back were going to do the same, and nobody did. I mean, some people came in on lap 2, and some others stayed out for even 4 or 5 on hard. So it's like, all right, I know I'm able to stretch my mediums and my softs quite a bit further. So maybe that would give me an advantage. And I mean, I was running in the back for most of the race, but once we got down to the last 5 laps or so, got myself up into the top 5, was able to put a pass on Papa as he came out of the pits, was able to put good clean pass on Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I had a tire advantage on him. And yeah, I just kind of went from there.
Awesome. Great job. Love it when a plan comes together, as we say on the A team, right?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't come together all the time. So this was a rarity.
It was nice. And we saw some really great clean driving. Did you have any incidents out there, or were your penalties all self-inflicted?
They were all self-inflicted. I had no problems with anybody. Everybody was very, very respectful. They stayed out of the way. I tried to stay out of the way. Nobody pushed anything they shouldn't have. Though the only one incident was maybe at the end when I got the pass done on Leo, was going into the bus stop. And I was hoping to get the pass done before we got there, but he thankfully backed off as we came into it. Otherwise, we might have gone into that too wide, and that could have gotten hairy. So
Yeah, and
the only time somebody pushed it was me.
I know from experience, Leo can get a little feisty going into situations like that. You never know what you're gonna get. But I guess in these races, he's a little less of his shenanigan self.
Well, he was talking all sorts about hunting Papa, but I think that was all just in good fun.
All in good fun. All in good fun.
Yeah, but all in all, the race was really fun. I had a good time on that one.
And what did you think about the cars everybody was using?
Again, kind of what I expected. I didn't think anybody was going to take the NSX, and a few people got it to work. I knew that couldn't go as long on tires. But I guess I wasn't totally surprised. The fact that everybody was either 4C, NSX, or that GT by Citroen. was not really surprising. Now, it looks like in Split 2 here, we've got quite a bit more variety, which is even more surprising. We got a Jag, we got a Ferrari, and we got a Huracan in here too. So this will be even more interesting.
I agree. I'm gonna ask Titanium first, but then I want Sal to answer as well. Do you have regardless of strategy or track, Titanium, do you have a favorite Group 4 car?
Honestly, my favorite Group 4 car that I have driven the most is honestly the Supra, and I know that there's a lot of people that might look at me funny for that, but
Yeah, you
for
can't
some
see my
reason that
face, but I'm making a face.
uh, for some reason that car talks to me. Like I understand it. I don't know why, but I can do it with no assists whatsoever and make it work for me. And I have so much trouble with everything else. So yeah, that has to be my favorite.
That's awesome. And I mean, I think that's more important than anything is finding a car that works the way you drive and you don't have to think about driving it and you can just drive it. I mean, it makes such a huge difference.
Right, it
Sal,
does.
what about you? Do you have a favorite Group 4 or do you change it up depending on what's happening?
I'm one of these guys that does kind of stick to the meta for the most part, but when it's viable, I like to drive the Vet.
Okay.
Back in the day, I used to be all Supra all the time, and then when they had one of the updates, I think it was uh, the big physics update with the tires, I ended up switching more to the Corvette. But it really just depends on the track. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed driving the 4C. I was able to get a good handle on it.
And yeah, the 4C is great. I know that's been when they did those you didn't have to pit, but if you drove any car but the 4C at Brands Hatch, you probably were gonna have to pit. And so it was either, I believe it was like either the Supra and you get far enough ahead that you're a pit stop ahead, or a no stopper on the 4C. And I was able to make that 4C work for me. It's a good car. It's just not always competitive depending on the situation. But also in the Group 4, I think it's easier to use more cars than say Group 3 just because they're all just that much more stable and controllable.
That is true. I mean, I enjoy driving the 4C or the Group 4s even more so than the Group 3s. They just kind of speak to me. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I've put a number of them on the track.
Indeed. And one of the ones out here is actually, well, I haven't driven it in forever because the game's been loving the all-wheel drive as far as being competitive, but the Jaguar F-Type, that was my go-to Group 4 for the longest time. Um, I thought that was a great one. Who's driving that car? Don Squad in the pits is in the Jag. And then we got Carl in the Lambo, which that has been the meta as of late, but I'm afraid based on what we've seen that the all-wheel drive, those I mean, in y'all's mid-engine cars, your front left was destroyed. How many laps do you think uh, the Lambo can do on the softs?
I'm going to guess it's going to be 4 or 5. I know when I drove the Corvette, that one was horrible on tires, like 4 laps, and they were gone. I'm kind of expecting the same out of the Huracan.
Now, have you been using the Huracan in these Group 4 dailies lately? Or have you been using a different one?
I have used it in some of them. I honestly haven't done a daily for a couple weeks because we've been putting in so much practice time with the league here. But back when I think the last time we did have Group 4s, anytime that the Group 4 Huracan has been the meta, I've been using it, and it took a little while to get used to it. The fact that it's so tail happy, especially under braking, um, you have to go into it with a different mindset.
Yeah, I agree. The only time I used it was on the Barcelona short circuit. I wanted to use the Lancer, but I just wasn't competitive enough. And I was able to make the Huracan work for me in that race, but and some of these other ones, I've either ended up using the Lancer, and then in this week I I did a little in the GTR. I tried the Subaru, and then started using the G70, and found that was I could handle it better than I could this Lambo. But maybe I need to use it because we should be able. I should practice more of a car that's so squirrely under braking to keep me from trying to turn while braking. It's a good teaching tool.
It is. You really have to kind of baby it in there. You have to apply a lot less steer because you can oversteer it. You know, usually with the front engine cars, you can just kind of, you know, you really get into the steering wheel, and all it does is just slides the front tires when it loses grip. The Lambo, it just seems to bring the back end around, which is a lot more stretchable.
Yeah, it's like almost like somebody just comes out of nowhere and shoves it really hard in the back, and you're just like, where did that come from?
Well, and even with the 4C here, you had to be wary of that because that would happen going into turn one. And it would also happen in one of the other corners here too, where you just had to be really careful with if you applied too much, it would come out underneath you.
Indeed, and it looks like KW47 has gained there on, yep, and sure enough, 2.5 quicker with Root then taking pole. Interesting. So we got Root.
Number of drivers down in the 54s.
Wow. A little drift there. Oh, that might be track limits. That's a tough one. Wow, it's
Curious to see if any of these guys get down to the 53s.
Yeah. What was your best lap in practice that you were able to do qualifying wise?
The best lap I did was during the qualifier for the splits, and I did a 53.4. But then I ran in the race. I was running my soft tires with the least amount of fuel, and I did a 53.3 in race.
Wow.
So that was the fastest lap I'd run all week.
Wow. And you used the 4C in the pre-qualifying as well?
No, I used the NSX.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, NSX for qualifier, I was able to get a few tenths faster because when the qualifying time came around, I hadn't quite broken into the 53s with the 4C yet. And the NSX, I could get there. So
it was just a matter.
That's what I went with. But knowing that it was worse on tire wear.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to stick with that for the race.
And we talked about it a little bit as far as like what the strategy was for qualifying. Was it, set one lap and then burn as much fuel, put fresh tires on and try again, or what did you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the burn a little fuel the first time, or on the initial out lap, do a hot lap, come in, burn a little more fuel, and another hot lap. And actually got a penalty on my first hot lap, so I really only got one solid hot lap in, which is why I qualified way back in the night.
And where were you finding you were getting most of your penalties from?
In the bus stop.
Bus stop.
Yeah, you try. I mean, if you can cut that corner and go through there nice and smooth, you can gain so much time, but you miss it by a pixel and you get like a whole second penalty. So
yeah,
I know I did that once. Actually, that might have been my only penalty last race, was just in the bus stop.
In the bus stop. This is such a cool track. I was so glad when it was, because this was one of the late editions, or an earlier late edition, right? Did we get this one before we got Road Atlanta, or did this come after? Do you remember?
I think we got this one first, and I think Road Atlanta came later. But I wouldn't bet my life.
No, I think that is right, because I wasn't. I've followed much more European racing than I do American racing, so I wasn't as I knew what Watkins Glen was, but I hadn't really followed it as much until more recent years as I got into IMSA and some of the other series here, and then because of the game, and I'm just like, what an incredible track. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, I've always known about it because I used to be into NASCAR pretty heavily many years ago. Not so much anymore. But I always knew about Watkins Glen. Now, granted, they run the shorter course in NASCAR. So the longer course was sort of a new thing to me. I don't know. Watkins Glen and Brands Hatch seem to be very similar to me. They have a similar kind of feel.
Interesting. Because I always compare this to more of like a spa to me, uh, Watkins Glen. But I see now that you say that, I see the Brands Hatch. I struggle so much with turn one at Brands Hatch that it's like I got to be in the perfect combo for me to be able to do Brands Hatch.
Turn one is unique compared to all the other turns of Brands Hatch. You have to approach that one very differently, for sure. And even the final corner. The final corner and the first corner are really just a different animal than the rest of the track.
Well, and it punishes you so much more than this does. This you have just concrete runoff. Yeah, you're going to get a penalty, but you're not going into grass or gravel. and yeah, Brands Hatch is just it's mean. It's mean about it. And did you notice Don Squad here is on the mediums?
For the qualifier. Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see what kind of time they put down. This is their first lap. Interesting. Root's still up half a second ahead.
Yeah, a low 54. That's a good time.
Root's fun. I'm always pumped when I get in a daily race with Root. So I know it's going to be a good time.
I agree.
Titanium, do you have a favorite track?
Not really. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, honestly, it would be Fuji.
Oh, nice.
I kind of like the way that one feels.
Yeah, I that's you know what, that's all like not a popular opinion. It seems like, at least in our community, people always get upset about Fuji, but I think it's fun. I think it flows well. I prefer it with the really clumsy chicane, than
right.
But I'll do it without the chicane as well. But I think Fuji's it's like a fun mix between the Nürburgring GP and I don't know, Interlagos or something like that. It's a fun combo, I think.
Right, I do as well. Like I said, it feels the best to me. The second one I would say would probably be Tokyo.
Like Suzuka or the Expressway?
The Expressway.
Nice. Do you have a particular layout or just any of them?
Really just any of them. Again, it's just the way it flows. And every one of them that I've been on so far has worked well for me.
Yeah, those are fun. I quite enjoy those. Those end up getting used when I run lobbies because we do road cars, and it's like, what's more fun than driving around the Tokyo Expressway in road cars?
Right, and it's so pretty at night.
It is. I wish you could like implement traffic like Mario 64, the one track that had cars driving around on it. Like, it'd be cool if there was a little bit of traffic in, I mean, just in that track, because it takes place on a road. That would be fun.
Right.
But I discovered I was, I'm not young and hip, but people do like role playing stuff in the Gran Turismo lobbies, and they'll do like cops and speeders at Tokyo, and so you like drive around, and then some people are cops and some people are in cool exotic cars, and if they catch you speeding, then they pull you over and stuff. I participated in one, and I was like, this is pretty fun. I didn't know this was a whole thing. Were either of you guys aware of that?
Yeah, my kids like doing that.
No idea.
Your kids
my
do
kids
that.
will do that. Yep, and they like to. It's either Tokyo or Grand Valley Highway 1.
Yeah,
is the other one that's used for that quite a bit.
Yeah, and it sounds like something I used to do when I was a kid. But I hopped in one of those lobbies and I was like, what is this? And somebody in chat explained to me, and I was like, oh, okay, let's go. It was cool.
Yeah, they also like doing the car show ones, which they usually use Tokyo for. You go down to the hairpin, and the cars all line up, and then there's one car that circles around them, and they decide, the podium finishers, third, second, and first as far as the liveries go, and generally it's the winner chooses the next the next combo, which is like American cars, Group 1 cars.
That's fun. People are so, that's so cool that you can do all that in this game. I like that.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look real quick. We got Root P1, a really solid P1. And then really close, we got Iron Fix and Will's brother right next to each other. Not much separating them. Then we got KW47. Then we got a pretty sizable gap here with It's Just Carl, Geezer Gears. There we go.
Yeah, Geezer Gears. That's actually Turtle.
I had to, what? Turtle. And then we
Yeah.
have Titan Arrow, C-Dubs, and Dawn Squad, who, as we saw, qualified on the medium. So, yeah.
Looks like it's really going to be a tale of two races here. The top 4 are pretty tight.
Yeah.
And then the next 4 are pretty tight after that.
And
it'll be interesting to see if that spreads out.
I wonder if we're going to get some back markers. I mean, there's not a lot, only 9 cars, but based on those times and tire strategies, we could get some lapped cars, which makes everything that much more interesting if ghosting and stuff is turned off. So
I believe ghosting is turned on for this.
Okay. Don't want to ruin anybody's day. I understand.
I think we had ghosting turned off for the first race because Sliced designed race number 1. I think Shaggy mentioned that it's going to be ghosting on for the rest of the race.
And also, those races were so long last week. That was unbelievable. I knew they were going to be long, but I didn't do the math beforehand to realize how they were almost like 2 hours a pop. It seemed like there at Le Mans.
Yeah, I think the race itself was an hour and 30 minutes, and then you throw in qualifying and everything. Yep, that was 2 hours. I mean, an hour 30 behind the wheel. That's the longest endurance race I've done so far.
I've never done anything like that. I don't like that track, but I wouldn't mind doing that at maybe a different one. But
it's like we're underway here.
Here we go. Let me get the settings set. I've discovered. We'll start with like P3, and that should give us a good view of the front 5. It's almost like, I mean, they're all in the same. Oh, there we go. They're all in the same. What just happened? Something's going on here. We had a little bit of a glitch of a start there.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
I've seen it happen before. I'm curious if the lobby might crash here in a second. But we're going to stay with it. Root is actually in first place, despite what it says. There we go. Things have adjusted, but he got a good launch. He is on the racing hards. Then we got Iron Fix on the racing mediums. KW47 on the hards. And here we go. It's just Carl.
That's a lot tighter when you get back to 4th.
Yeah. So there was some weird laggy rolling start for the top 4, and then seemed to have gotten underway. Oh, maybe that was just netcode.
Will's got into It's Just Carl there going into the bus stop. It doesn't look like anybody lost it.
Nobody lost it. Will's brother does have damage. I wasn't sure if that was netcode or if they actually made contact, and you're absolutely correct, as seems like the damage comes into effect there. Ooh, you hate to see it. I thought he was going to hold it with an epic drift, but it just got away from him.
Yeah, definitely was trying.
Maximum effort. He kept it pinned, NASCAR style, burning those back tires.
Right.
Nice move up the inside by Titan Arrow. Very nice. But now Gears here is going to have the inside and take it back. And Don Squad. Oh, that was because of the big
Bobble by
spin.
It's Just Carl up front.
Yep.
He
and
got loose there for a bit. Got
that
himself a pen.
looseness, yep, you're right. Got himself a pen. And him on the racing softs. Curious if he can make it 5 laps. Okay,
Yeah, he
just
was
got
starting to reel
word.
in K-Dub.
Shaggy's
Yeah.
gonna restart this because yeah, that was a crazy start. Because look, it's showing a 2-minute time difference between KW47 and C Dubs. It is just
Right.
so.
Weird.
Bear with us. We had a
Technical difficulties.
technical difficulties, and you know what? You know who's happy? This guy right here, Will's brother. He's gonna get another chance. He's gonna get another chance.
He says, "Thank you, Shaggy, for adhering to the will of the GT7 gods."
Yeah. The craziest is I don't know if you guys have been in lobbies like this, but I run lobbies every week, and every now and again the lobbies will crash, but it's like one at a time. And so like you could be in a tight battle and everybody around you is disappearing, but you and the person you're battling with have not disappeared yet. And it's so weird. We gotta exit the race. Oh no, they have to exit. I see. There we go. Now the question is, do we restart the whole lobby or just the race? C Dubs needs
Don't
to
know.
exit.
They got to get C-Dubs to exit out so we can restart it.
Yeah, it's just Carl might be right on that. Sometimes when you run the lobbies, the longer you run them, the more susceptible they are. Yep, we're gonna restart the lobby, so bear with us. I'm gonna go to the be right back screen, and then we'll be back once this gets restarted. So hold on, y'all.
Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victories in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victor's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift, speeding down the lane.
If y'all wanted some company.
We do want some company.
Oh, okay. Well, let me end my stuff, and I will be back in just a second.
Yay!
Yeah.
Y'all
be
just
back.
heard we got Leo back
Yeah.
here shortly,
Yeah,
enjoying
let me end.
having you. I was missing you
Free.
for that first part, but now you're here.
I know. I had to put on a show.
Well, good. I'm glad you did.
I did.
And
I did
I'm
not think our
It was a
tires were
good
going
show.
to do that good.
looks like
And then
Shaggy's
Sal
gonna
said-
get us started here. Everybody needs to get their starting tire. He went ahead and negated qualifying because they already qualified. So we are going to have everybody start the race in the order in which they qualified. And they will make sure they are on the right tire as we get started. Gotta love seeing the inner workings of Gran Turismo lobbies. And it looks like C-Dub would like to requalify, but unfortunately, there wasn't a lobby issue during qualification.
Right.
But I understand wanting to do the full restart. It does kind of throw you out of your rhythm. You're used to, you're used to doing the quali laps and then the race start, and not that much time passed, but still, routines are routines.
All right, here we go.
All right. Hopefully we don't get the crazy lead. Root was probably like, "Come on, guys!" He was up there, just miles ahead, no issues.
Good luck to everybody.
Good
Hopefully,
luck.
fingers crossed this works.
Yes.
Well, once we get this race underway, Leo, I want to hear all about your side of the race because
Oh.
we all heard Sal's side already, but let's get this start out of the way, and then I'll come at you with some questions.
I might have some answers.
We'll see if they match.
All right, right.
And we got turn
Definitely a
one
cleaner start
underway.
this time.
Yep. Well, they all started together. Will's brother in P3. Yep. Very happy this race restarted because that did not get off to a good start for them,
It was
unfortunately.
a practice start for the last one. make sure they were ready.
An
This
iron.
one's much more gentlemanly.
Yes.
Yes,
Indeed.
indeed.
So we got an NSX, we got Ferrari, we got 4C, and we got a Citroen, all in the top 4. So all different cars.
Oh,
We
wow.
did see that the NSX is a
Where'd
little
Geezer
harder.
Gears go?
Where did Geezer Gears go?
Where did Geezer
Went
Gears
off.
go?
I think he got loose going into the bus stop, and he went way
Oh,
off into the
no.
wall. He's got
Yep.
damage.
Oh,
Where Will's brother came out on top with having the restart. Gears is hurting now. Dawn Squad still on the mediums. I hope they know they have to change tires because they qualified on the
Will's
mediums.
brother back around
Oh,
again.
oh no.
I need to get a second keyboard so I can give us instant replays. I'll add that to the list.
He's
That
just
list
having
is
some bad
growing,
luck today.
TKs.
Well, we're getting around. I would think these laps would be a little bit longer in the Group 4 cars, but they really do get around here quickly.
Yeah, they do pretty good. I was actually quite surprised. There was a part where I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden it was the end of the race. I was like, okay, that wasn't terrible. It was
No.
actually pretty enjoyable.
And you know what? We were talking about the huge gap between P1 through 4 and the rest of the team. And it's just Carl making moves on these softs in the Huracan. Now, we did say that tires aren't going to do great on this car, but based on what the qualifying times were, I wasn't expecting to see him up into the podium position already.
Well, K-Dub's on hard, so he definitely has a tire advantage there. I'm sure he's like, he's got to get these moves done now, knowing that the tires aren't going to last. He can't just hold out behind people.
So when do we think it's just Carl is going to pit to get off these softs? I'll start with you, Leo.
Lap 4.
Lap 4? All right.
It's probably going to cook him pretty quickly. I mean, you know that Huracan likes to slide no matter what you do. But Carl looks like he's got a pretty good control of it. So I would say lap 4, lap 5, maybe pushing it. The four-wheel drives have a bad tendency of wearing out the front tires more than the rear. So it's going to cook them front steering tires.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Sal?
Absolutely. I was going to say 4 or 5 as well.
5.
He's probably going to have to try to stretch it to avoid taking too many pit stops. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stretches it to 5 laps.
Yeah, and I guess I wonder what the difference between the hards and the mediums are, because like if he does only get 4, he could do a longer stint on the hards. But if the hards are that much worse, is it worth stretching it, risking a penalty or a crash versus doing an extra 2 laps on the hards?
I would even say maybe you might start on the softs, go to the hards as his long stint, like to lap 14, get on the mediums at the end.
Yeah, if the difference isn't that big, that might be the play.
Yeah.
It's really a matter of how much he's practiced this. If he knows what to expect, or if he's just kind of shooting from the hip.
Well, we're gonna guess that by his car choice, he's shooting from the hip. No offense, Carl, but you did even get an opportunity to change your car. So maybe he did practice it so much that he didn't want to change the car, even though he knows he's at a technical tire disadvantage. Inside the minds of drivers.
Is that Carl has actually become pretty proficient with that Lambo. I mean, he got up to A+ recently, so
yeah,
maybe that's just his car that he enjoys.
And it has been featured so much the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's been the go-to for one of the dailies. So, and like we were talking about with Titanium earlier, you get a car that works with you, like Titanium with the Supra, like you just make it work for you. As he sets another purple lap or sector.
That poor car choice would not be good here.
He's really got iron fix into his into his grasp here to see how long it takes him to get around. And Iron Fix is on the mediums as well, so it's just Carl definitely has a tire advantage.
Did Justice Carl put an Alfa Romeo symbol on the Lamborghini symbol
Yes.
to make it pretend? Okay.
Yes.
I thought I was seeing things.
He wanted to be like the rest of the PHG crew, even though obviously everybody hears PHG. But you know what I mean. and drive the
In the
4C.
Different, but not, you know, he's trying to be incognito.
He did say in the pre-race chat that his car identifies as a 4C.
There we go. Well,
And he identifies as a C+ driver. Which is great, because I always say, you know, I'm a very good B driver. I just happen to have an A driver rating.
Me too, buddy. Me
exactly. And this battle between Iron Fix and It's Just Carl is great. I do love. That's another Group 4 car I love is the Ferrari. The Ferrari Group 4 and Group 3 I think are fantastic cars to drive. You had to ask Leo what a bad car you thought would be around here?
Yeah, the Mazda.
Oh yeah.
Terrible choice.
Any of the front wheel. But I was also thinking
Yeah.
the Porsche, the Cayman, it's just so underpowered it seems like.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be like bad as far as tire wear or anything like that, but I think as far as just overall pace it would lag.
I think I saw somebody trying to use it and they died through the bus stop and they were like, never mind then.
Never mind.
Yeah, you didn't see me in that car. I didn't try.
We'll get to the end of this lap. We're going to see if It's Just Carl's going to try to push this to one more. His tires are, man, he's down to like 30% left.
Based on
at the end of lap 4.
What we saw from some of the drivers, they were taking them all the way down. Like, some of these drivers do have the skill. Yep. And I think that's the right play. If he does 5, 10, 5 is kind of what a lot of people were trying to do. But Root just commanding it. I mean, this is commanding. He is on the slowest compound tire, and he is over 3.5 seconds ahead of everybody. I imagine he'll pit at the end of this lap as well and slap on either the softs or the mediums for their next stint. We did see in y'all's race, some of the hard compound drivers took it quite a long time, like 8-9 laps. Do you remember who the longest on the hards was, Titanium, by chance?
No, actually I don't.
I was kind of thinking.
I can find out.
Yeah, I was thinking Ecstasy. I know they did a long stint, but it's so hard to remember anything.
I want to say yes from what I remember because I was like, man, this guy hasn't gone in the pits at all. I want to say it was Ecstasy, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I could see Carl taking it one more lap, but I don't think it's necessary. If he can pull away from Iron Fix a little bit, he could do one more lap.
I think those tires will be 100% gone before the end of the next lap.
Yeah, and then he loses too much. Not worth it. It's always that turn right there on dead tires. It's like if they get a penalty, you know they have no grip. We'll see right here. And I was also impressed. Nobody got a pit lane penalty.
Yeah, no one crashed either.
Nope.
Which was fantastic.
Oh, he's staying out.
Staying out. He's pushing
it. Boy.
He's pushing it.
Brave soul.
I can't watch.
He's got the stream on and he's like, I'm proving everybody wrong on these tires. Watch me. Watch me.
He identifies as Shaggy apparently.
Apparently. Except for his manual transmission.
Hell.
We got coming off the hards. Merry Christmas, Gears. Yeah. Hey, that's me on the back of there. Thanks, dude.
Hey.
That's fun.
Is it the beard? Is it the beard? Hold on. I gotta see what the
Shout
camera
out
looks
to Mr. J. Collins for making it so my logo got into this game.
like. I know, and I use it all the time.
It's too good, right?
It
Here, we'll
is.
get a better shot of it. You can kind of see it there.
Yeah.
We got brown beard.
Yeah.
We got brown beard.
Iron Fix just got the pass done on it. It's just Carl.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, it's that fire degradation that we were speaking about.
Look at the rears,
goes
though.
last.
Rears are going to be gone.
That's
Dead.
so surprising because everybody else, it was the fronts, but as we were saying with this car, the back end steps out, and that sure enough is showing. That's so weird. You don't expect to see that on these all-wheel drive cars.
Sal, close your eyes now.
Ooh, K-Dub puts the pass on.
Sent it. Yep. So now it's looking like should have boxed one lap earlier, had track advantage.
Hindsight's always 20/20. He certainly had the tire advantage, and in the short term, it was working for him. But
Yep.
the long game, we'll see what he does with the rest of these tires. I mean, he might still have a good strategy going. We got to see how it all plays out.
Indeed. I agree. And I mean, I'm always guilty of, I can get one more lap. Like that lap, I didn't lose time on that lap. And then halfway through, you're like, well, never mind.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what happened to me, TKs.
I believe it. Sounds like something
Yeah.
you would do.
Well, you know, we're similar in racing styles.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar.
We are.
Yeah, I could have gone a couple of laps longer on the hards to make the mediums stretch a little further.
Carl ended up going to the mediums, so we'll see how long he gets that close to last.
So he's gonna finish, and that was the exciting thing. Y'all couldn't see it at the end of y'all's race. It was exciting because we had most of the people on the hards, and then Lyric on the softs, and he was just chopping away on the hard tire runners ahead of him on the softs. He ran out of laps. I think if he had one or two more laps, he would have won the race. But his tires may have died.
I tried to hang with him as long as I could. He at one point said, bye.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, okay.
So Don Squad hasn't pitted yet, running those mediums long up into 7th place, but that's due to some incidents, shall we say.
Well, Root up in P1 hasn't pitted yet. Getting to the end of lap 7. Looks like he's coming in now, though.
Well, and you know what? Why would you get off the hards if you've already been able to pull a 4.5 second gap on everybody? He's clearly quicker than everybody else on that slower compound tire. That's impressive. And KW comes in behind him. So Iron Fix
I'm curious to see how long Iron Fix can hold out on these mediums. One more lap, maybe two, probably just one.
Maybe yeah. Oof. It's gonna run into that same issue we saw with Carl. Like, do you push it that one extra lap? And Root came out.
All right, it looks like. Sorry.
No, go.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna let you know that Root actually has beat out Ecstasy by one lap. It looked like when I went back to look at the footage. So Root managed one extra lap over Ecstasy that I can tell on the hards.
Interesting. Titanium coming through with the work that we didn't want to do. Thank you.
Per usual.
Just doing it, getting it done.
That's what I'm here for.
Where would we be without you? We would be nowhere.
Lost.
We'd be guessing.
It would.
Lots of speculation.
Lots of speculation. No hard facts. No hard facts.
Nope. None. None at all. Who's this person again? I have no idea.
Yes, that is the I think the question that I answer the most is, wait, who is that?
Yeah,
I think
I asked
one
that
day I
like 3
saw.
times today already.
I think
Woo!
I asked you that same thing. I was like, "Who's Geezer Gears?" And you're like, "That's Turtle." I was like, "Why did I not know that?"
Yeah, Leo, you should
It is
know that.
so fitting.
I should.
But
I
you
just
also
learned that now.
To be fair, Turtle was PhD before Leo, so
Yeah, there was a lot of before.
and Iron
So
Fix,
Iron Fix is in, gets off those mediums.
what are they gonna be? What you gonna come out on?
I'm guessing softs. There's more speculation.
I would want to finish on softs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yep,
Oh,
we did.
Sure enough. So Root only 4.5 seconds and gaining on Titan, whose mediums are not looking great. So Root will retake.
I think Titan's the last one who hasn't pitted yet.
Root's going to have a huge lead now. Look at that, 6 seconds ahead of KW.
And he's purple.
Wow. Making those hards work for him. And yeah. You know, I do wish that fuel was a factor in this race. I'm not going to lie. I think this is great, but I think the added threat of fuel is always fun.
You know, Willis brother kind of playing a bit of a sleeper race here in the back. He had some bad luck, but is up in P5 ahead of Carl, and I believe they're on the same. They both pitted once, so he's trying to make a comeback from that early mistake.
Yeah, he had such a solid qualifying, and then you know we saw what happened in the first start, and then we thought he got away with it and lost it in the second. But to be back up into P5, Carl's tires are fresher than Will's brother, but I think we're going to see that fall off again with Carl towards the end of his stint.
I agree. All right, looks like Tight Narrow went into the pit, so Roots inherited the lead.
And let's see, what a commanding lead he has inherited. Though it is a little bit less than it was last time we checked in, so KW putting on a little bit more pressure, but he's got tons of pressure from Iron Fix, and we've seen how these softs can just slice people up. They don't last very long, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw overtake attempt by the end of this lap or towards the beginning of the next lap.
I think Root and KW really are in the catbird seat here, knowing that both of them have their soft tires yet to go, and they're already at the front of the field.
Yeah, I think that's where we had talked about in the first race how in a daily with pitch strategy, if you're starting up front, you would never start on the slower tire. Like that's just asking to get punted into the shadow realm, right? But in these races, in league races, where you're with people who you know are gonna do their absolute best to drive, they're gonna ruin their race before they ruin yours, on purpose. Like
yeah.
you can do that and get away with these multi strategies, which I think is a lot of fun.
Unless it's me and you on Tuesdays when
Well,
we're
yeah.
at the back of the pack
Shenanigans.
and we're having fun. The shenanigans.
Shenanigans be shenanigans. What do you want us to do? Not crash
Have
into
fun.
each other? Come on. Not try to do a
Yeah.
360 over the sand dune? I don't think so.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
It must be done.
Now, if we're fighting for a legitimate position, different story.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if our races are over, yeah, I might slow down so I can get behind you and then forget to brake later. Who knows? Oh no! Ooh, what a save!
Ooh. Would you look at
Lovely
that?
save.
Iron Fix
so.
shaking them tail feathers in the Ferrari. No assists on catching that. That was impressive.
That is. I want to say, is he still in controller? Question?
Question
Yes,
mark?
for now, I believe he is. He is
Yeah.
awaiting the wheel.
A wheel.
You know, it's gotta love postal service.
I don't know
Indeed.
anybody who's ever worked for them, so I wouldn't know anything about if they're any good or not.
You don't say.
I've heard things. My work uses FedEx, so I don't know.
Fun fact: Turtle's family actually owns a post office. So
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's
yeah,
fun.
lots, a
You
lot of
own a post
postal
office?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another thing I learned on this stream.
Learning.
yeah.
We
They're
get so
usually
many wrinkles
privately
in our
owned.
brain.
I
No, I
lived
tell you
in.
what, if we go,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we go back to It's Just Carl, he's really managing these medium tires pretty well. He's
Yes.
put on what I think we're ending the 6th lap, and he's not near half. I think we've seen with other cars the soft to medium comparison is you get about double the laps out of the mediums. It looks like he's going to do better than that. So maybe he knows something we didn't. That the although the softs get torn up, he's managing these mediums pretty well.
Yeah. He really is, and that was interesting. Will's brother getting off the mediums, so they'll be coming out on the hards to finish? Is that right? Surely not the softs.
8 laps on softs would be a bit to ask.
Anticipation. On the hard, so
Right,
finishing on the hards. All right.
Cool. We got a sane person.
What's the fun in that?
I know.
Root. I
Something like
mean,
Iron Fix is probably going to be our next pit stop attendee.
and
Yeah.
that's just going to give Carl P3.
Yep.
And at the pace he's putting out, what is his fastest? He's definitely not putting the lap time down that Iron Fix is putting down. But Iron Fix is on the softs. And then I guess Carl still has to go onto the hards. Interesting.
Iron Fix currently has the fastest lap in the race.
Oh wow.
A 155 flat, and that's on the softs. What was do we remember the fastest lap from your race? Was it a 53 or low 54?
Give me 2 seconds.
1,
Two.
Well, I did a 53, and I didn't get the fastest. I think it was a 53.
I want to say.
Ooh.
Yeah. Give me.
I had a 53.3.
I'll take screenshots. Give me 1 second. It was a 52.679.
Holy cow.
Boy.
From Lyric.
That was when he was on that charge, yeah. And there goes Iron Fix in the pits. So
that front right tire is screaming.
Are we going on
to get that off?
Mediums or hards? Hards, right?
Should be.
I believe so.
That gives Carl P3 for now. Titan Arrow P4 and Iron Fix coming out on the hards. C-Dubs is going to be right there.
This is probably Titan Arrow's last lap. Then he's going to have to switch tires again.
Yep.
Iron Fix will be up in the 4th with the freshest tires of the top runners.
Don Squad just doing their thing on the hards. So if they must have run the softs, and they've been getting fuel. Something tells me Don Squad didn't prepare for this race. Just a thought. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Done. He's done some practice lobbies with us. Maybe he accidentally fueled up one
You know
of
what?
them laps.
I have done that. Oh, fair
Me
enough.
too.
Fair enough.
So easy to hit that button.
I think we all have at one point in time. We look down and be like, no.
Or forgotten to select tires, and so you're just sitting there and you're like, well,
What's going
why
on?
haven't they changed tires yet?
Or you select the tires and you select the wets.
I've done that.
Me too.
Put intermediates on when there was no reason for it.
No reason.
Start a race with intermediates.
Man, Titan's coming in with just a sliver of front right, front left, left. Remaining.
My tire.
He made it last though.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
So Carl's gonna make this last as long as he can and do minimal laps on the hards at the end. It's
That's not a bad idea.
He's got a few laps left to go on those.
What's the gap on Iron Fix there? It's
18 seconds.
Yeah.
I want to say, how long's the pit stop here? Like 20 seconds, 30 seconds?
And he's gonna Iron Fix has to deal with C-Dub applying pressure on a better compound and nice warm tires. So that could, if C-Dub applies the pressure, that's gonna slow Iron Fix down.
That would be
Is C-Dub done with his pit stops? He might be.
I
mean, he's got half a tire with six laps left to go, 6.5. That's we right on the edge.
Right on the edge. If he's got a tire
you
left,
could do 13 or 14 in the 4C.
Interesting.
I couldn't control that car to save my life.
Really?
No, that's why I went with the Citroen.
I haven't driven the 4C in a minute, but I've always liked it. Finally, difference.
It's like a Miata, so you might like it.
Yeah, I do like a Miata.
Yeah. Me too. If I could find one. I was saying to Sal last night, we were in a chat party. I was thinking the 4C looks more like a Lotus Elise than anything.
Yeah, it's essentially that's what it is. I mean, it's.
Is it?
I mean, it's not on the same platform, but it's like that's what they were going for. That's exactly what an Elise was. It's a little car, a lot of power for how small it is. Drives like it's on rails.
Doesn't the Lotus have the engine in the back though?
It is MR. Is this not? Is the 4C not MR?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
I believe it should be.
I thought it was.
Oh, all right.
I don't.
I know the Elise had the Corolla engine in it with the supercharger.
It had the VVTi variable valve timing by Toyota. Their version of VTEC, not as good as VTEC, obviously.
Agreed.
But it had the VVTi, the GTS, naturally aspirated, like 160 horsepower.
Yeah.
And then,
shockingly, do you know what the I stands for and all that? Intelligence.
Well, then, so when Honda came out with the that's where it comes back into play with Honda, is they came out with the K series motor, right? Mm-hmm. Which is the K20 and the K24, which then you saw the Civic SIs, it said iVTEC instead of just VTEC. Same thing, intelligent VTEC, which is variable timing.
Variable valve timing.
No, that's the VVT.
No, yeah.
But you know what we mean. And there goes KW into the pits on the mediums.
Sorry to bug y'all with car stuff.
Right? Who likes cars? Nobody here gives a damn about cars, Leo.
What is a car?
We don't just spend all of our time playing a silly car video game and watching people drive silly car video games.
Spend thousands of dollars on it,
Nope, not for us. We don't want any part of that.
C-Dub's back in the pit, so bet
Yeah.
he's gonna come out probably on softs.
I would think. I don't remember
would
what they
look like
started
it.
on. But they're
I was
dropping.
thinking hard, but I don't know.
Yep, softs.
Yep.
So they're going to be dead by. Oh no, only got 4 laps to go. And right behind Titan. So Titan on hards. They should be
Yep.
able to get that position. And then they got 6 seconds to Will's brother, also on hards. So we could see C-Dubs. It's not a lot of laps left, but make up a few positions here. As we go up the
Might be
field, gears and mediums.
doing the same strat as Lyric, I
Yep.
would think. And he's going to try to push as hard as he can.
And with how clean everybody's driving in, there's so many overtaking opportunities here. Plus, where the penalty line is where it is. Making up positions is not too difficult.
We got Reed coming in the lead. He might be getting penalty. We're going to see if he gets one on the way out.
On the way
Crossed
out.
that line as he was trying to get in.
We're going to find
I will
out how
say-
long this pit stop takes.
I will say, if you put your wheel on the grass on the right-hand side, it will negate you getting a penalty.
Ah, because it's like interference.
Yeah, so you don't cross that penalty line. So if you can keep your tire on that curb, I think, then you will not get a penalty. Just fun fact.
Fun fact. Full of facts.
Not get a penalty.
You did not.
Wow.
Yay.
But not as big of a gap as I thought he would have. KW, their softs are barely worn. They're warmer.
Yep.
And he's got that great exit out of turn 1.
That NSX has got all the speed, but I don't know how it does in the corners. Sally, you know a little bit about that one. Because you qualified with it. Does it do pretty decently in the corners?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. So I know in that Citroen, I was flying through the bus stop like it was nobody's business. I don't know if K-Dub's got the power to catch up to that NSX.
Their fuel levels are the same, so as far as weight on the vehicle isn't going to play much effect. It's really is, can KW take advantage of their tires already being warm and Roots being cold? As I said, a purple second sector.
Oh, his tires are going to be dead by the end of the race.
Yeah. But this is a track, if you can get ahead and make the corners, you can prevent somebody from getting by you, but they're gaining.
Shaggy's saying there's a battle for P6 right now.
Oh. Boop, boop, doop, doop. Oh, the C-Dubs and Geezer.
Oh,
Tight narrow. Yeah. There we go.
So Titan on the hards, Geezer on the mediums.
Ada picked up the fastest lap at the 54.5.
Yeah, they were flying. I think they're gonna catch Root, but yeah, I think the tires are gonna fall off.
Yeah, no, there's
dead.
3 laps and 2 seconds to make up. It's a bit to ask. We'll see.
We were seeing it with Lyric, but Lyric has shown that they are streets ahead out here. So it's one thing when you see somebody do it and make up time. It's another thing to do it yourself.
I'm going to have to use that one, T-Case. I like that.
What?
Streets ahead.
Streets ahead? Oh, that's
Yeah.
So just so you know, nothing I say is original. I watch way too much television, and all I do is quote TV all day. Streets Ahead is from Community. Pierce Hawthorne is trying to sound young, and so he is constantly saying that's Streets Ahead. So as much as I want to take credit for it, I cannot. I'm not a TV
I think we
show
all
writer.
get our best quotes from TV and everything.
Everything I say is from TV.
Especially our favorite word.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
You guys talking about shenanigans?
Oh.
What's that place
Yep,
with all
yep.
the stuff on the walls? You know? Oh, shenanigans. You guys talking about shenanigans? Oh. Too good.
We've rehearsed that too many times.
That's just my everyday life right there, man. Just talking.
No.
Starting to gap out here. I'm a
Yeah.
little surprised. It was a lot
Root-
tighter.
Root started to pull away from K-Dub after K-Dub captured the fastest lap.
Yeah.
Kind of was like, hey, you can't just coast.
Yeah.
It's just Carl was really trying to push it, ended up getting in the wall. Final turn. He's got a little damage now, but I mean, how about his strategy? I mean, before the race, he was practically getting bullied by the other drivers, saying you need to change your car. And sure enough, those soft tires got eaten up, but man, he's managed it. He's up here in P4.
Yeah. And like his
his
qualifying time is it is an Alpha. It's they're both made in Italy. Maybe one isn't technically made in Italy, but they're from Italy.
Same pedigree,
Same
almost.
pedigree. I will say I do like the Alfa Romeo road cars. I wanted to hate on them really bad when they first came out because they basically are Mazdas.
Yeah.
But they're awesome. They really
they're not
are.
that bad.
And if you get like the proper ones, like if you get the baseline cheapest one, still cool car. But if you get like the Quattrofore and the like, those are sick. Those are really sick cars. Yeah,
Never really dove into that branch.
And they look good too. I mean, they do kind of like the SUVs look like a Mazda SUV. You could argue
like a CX-5.
Yeah, you could argue that the Giulia looks like a Mazda 6, and you could argue that the 4C is loosely based on the Miata. But
oh no, I can't unsee
it. Now you can't unsee it. As somebody who spends all day every day looking at cars and buying cars, I see it. Yeah. I can't not see it.
Yeah.
I drive down the road and I'm like, hey, I haven't seen that one before. What's that? Oh, interesting. Oh, that looks a lot like this one. And then I look it up. I was like, oh, because it is that one, just with a different badge.
Oh, we're on the
Oh, 2 penalties.
Oh, looked like someone tapped the wall there a little bit. Looked like C-Dubs got into it.
Look at that gap. KW 19 seconds ahead of Iron Fix. Root 22 seconds ahead.
And that's the difference between those softs and the hard tire. Definitely.
Well,
it feels really spread out for this last lap.
Yeah, it was so much closer. I feel like this race was closer through more of it, and then it spread out, whereas y'all's race was a little more spread out and then got all brought back together.
Yes. I think a lot of us had the same pitch strategy, just different compound of tires.
And y'all all had this, a lot of the people had the same car. Like we have here the NSX, then we have the Citroen with no grip there on the front left. Yep. But a big gap.
That's about right.
But a big gap. But Root also, Root could easily put it in the wall.
Yeah, he's got just a sliver.
And
he's going to be careful on this final corner.
And it's gone.
I wish they had blowouts in this game. I wish they had blowouts. But he keeps it. Rumble. And there he is, PHG Root.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Oh.
Followed by KW. And then we're going to wait. We got to wait a while. Iron Fix rounding out the podium. Carl held in there, considering the gap on their qualifying times and all the stuff people were saying about his car. Yep. P4, well done.
He stuck to his guns. He knew what he was doing with that car.
Well, Will's brother, how about him? He ended up
Yeah.
getting into trouble early on, battled back, top 5.
That's
There you
hard to
go.
do. So hard to do. Did we see Don Squad use the softs?
I
Not saying that he didn't
don't
use
think
them,
so.
but
I don't think we saw him, but he.
yeah.
I do like the sound of that
Yeah.
jag.
That Jag, that fancy Mustang, I like it too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that
Yeah.
car. That was for the longest time and still is one of my favorite Group 4 cars. And
I
honestly,
never got into it.
in real life, you can get the EcoBoost, the 3 liter, 3 something liter 6-cylinder turbo of these Jags for not very expensive.
No.
And that EcoBoost V6 is a sick motor. Very nice, Don Squad. And so
There we go.
you get that Jaguar body with the EcoBoost V6. It's a cool combo for not a lot of money.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
And PHG Root with the victory. KW with
Root.
the fastest lap. Iron Fix in P3. It's just Carl in P4. Will's brother in P5. C Dubs P6. Geezer Gears in P7. Titan Arrow in P8. And Don Squad rounding it out in P9 with a 58.6. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent.
That was fantastic.
Well, guys, I would say GTPHGWS Season 1 has delivered back-to-back weeks with some excellent racing.
Yes, it has. I would definitely agree with that.
You agree with that?
The best part is that it's been nice and clean.
It
You know,
really
to see these
has.
guys treat each other with some respect is, really nice to watch.
I agree.
Makes the racing
Absolutely.
more entertaining.
Super proud of everybody.
Indeed, it is a long season now, and I don't know if y'all watch
Yep.
F1 or you can watch, in NASCAR and stuff. As seasons go on and points get ever so sparse and close, a lot can change. But I do have faith in our PHG family here that it'll remain clean. But I think moves will become more aggressive as the season goes on.
I don't know. The one Sal made on me was I thought I was gonna play chicken with him for a minute.
Yeah, I was telling him that before you joined up that probably the most aggressive move that we saw the whole time was one done by me.
And there was nothing I could do about it.
Nothing, because he had no grip.
Nope. Nope, I sure didn't. I was like, well, I could either try this and we both wreck out and then I feel terrible, or I could just back out.
And that's the
Chose the
smart
latter.
thing to do.
Yeah.
He's
Not
got
bad, 'cause
he's
I
got
did
brains.
sometimes.
That's what I was banking on.
Well,
Sounds like I don't have any, so hopefully Leo's got some.
my 2 brain cells dancing in the background going.
Cue the circus music.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, what a fantastic race though.
Yeah,
All the way around.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean there are definitely different strategies involved. Some people started on hards. I mean, Root starting on the hard tire and putting out a big lead.
Yeah.
That was unexpected. He did well.
I agree. Yeah, that was very bold, and then also just very dominant. Like he did it, and then was like, "Yeah, now watch me." Like I'm gonna pull, and he was under no threat at all, really. Um, that was fun. Y'all's race was really great. I'm glad we got to participate, watching and talking on that. And I appreciate all y'all joining me in this fun extravaganza. We can continue. We'll, as the season goes on, figure out who's available for what and whose stream we need to do it from, and depending on availability. But it was fun. And Titanium, super glad you got to join us.
I appreciate you letting me come in.
Letting
And
you,
just
you were
to
like, I have to do this. You better let me do it, or you're out of PHG for
actually,
life.
you can
Uh-oh.
blame Papa for that.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. We still got the bet with Papa.
You sure do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Papa's gotta dress up like Santa Claus.
Or you have to dress up like an elf.
Well,
Oh,
oh, that's right.
why don't
That's
you
right.
guys both dress up and we all win? That's a
I'm okay with
win-win-win-win.
that too.
I mean,
I
you're
would
not
go full
wrong.
buddy elf, you
You're not
know.
wrong.
I'm not wrong.
All right, guys. Well, a few things before we do take off. Round 3 is in 2 weeks at Atlanta in Group 1. So we will be back to see everybody there. Also, for all of the PHG team, please stick to the Discord for your final results. I will get those out to you as soon as Shaggy and I collaborate on that. And yeah, I think everybody did a great job. And the last thing is Shaggy needs 4 names for the driver of the day vote.
Whew. Who can remember? I will not go first.
I vote for Iron Fix.
Ooh, nice.
Big fan. I think he did amazing, considering.
I'll choose the obvious one. I'm gonna go with Carl
All
for
right.
the unexpected choice of car and telling the naysayers I do what I want.
Sal,
I'm
what
gonna
about
pick Racer 51. Taking the win in the top division. He obviously was consistent enough, and it's an easy picking the winner, but that's who I'll choose.
Well, I'm going to follow you in that suit, but I'm going to pick Root because, like we said, he started on the hards and then just ran away. Just absolutely ran away in the NSX, which we argued was maybe not the best choice as far as tire wear goes, but it didn't seem to matter. So I'm going to go
Also a good choice.
with Root. But I mean, everybody was great. Just the fact that how clean all the driving was, I mean, that's great.
Oh boy. Well,
Oh, we're gonna have a
TK3 next
vote
race.
in the Discord based on those
Oh.
choices.
Oh. You're gonna get your wish of a fuel saving race next one.
Oh boy, that's what I like. I like looking
Yeah.
at that fuel meter and thinking, I can't do math this fast, but I think they're gonna have trouble.
Yeah, because that's a problem with me too, because I failed all 4 years in high school.
It's like you have 4 laps of fuel remaining, and you're on lap 5, but because you're on lap 5, that actually means you have 6 laps to go. But it says 4 minus 6 is, and then you crash.
And then you bin it. Yep.
That's where it's great to have support and a team behind you that can feed you some information.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right. Well, I guess it's time to conclude it. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. My apologies for our technical difficulties at the start. Big shout out to Leo for helping me fix said
Hey.
technical difficulties.
That's what I'm here for.
Another great stream. I mean, we got mine showing a total of 201 total views. So a lot of people tuning
Wow.
in. I hope everybody who was racing and streaming had some good interaction and chat and encouragement while they streamed. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye and good night, and then I'll let Titanium, Leo, and then Salamander send it off as well, and we'll end this thing. Good night, everybody, and thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. This has been really interesting. It's definitely different for me. But I am super proud of the team and all of the hard work that has been put into everything, and I can't wait for the next round.
I want to say thank you to everybody. Y'all did an awesome job. I can't wait to see y'all in the next race, either on the track or up here in the booth. Hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's night.
Hope everybody stays well. If you are not feeling well, get that rest. Get back to feeling better. Later, y'all.
Yeah, I'll echo all that. Good set of races today. Really a lot of fun to watch. My first time being up here in the booth. This was a good time and a good experience for me. Thank you guys for having me up here. Um, thanks Papa for putting this on and Shaggy putting it all together. Um, I think we got a good thing going here, and I'm really looking forward to the next race as well. So we'll see everybody then.
Yes, thank you, Shaggy. Thank you, Papa. Thank you, PHG. Thank you, Leo, Titanium, um, Salamander. This has been fantastic. Toon, get well soon, buddy. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we will see y'all later.
Later, everybody.